Hi everyone. I made it to Sarajevo. I don't know if there's anything that screams Sarajevo here. It's actually quite kind of fun because what I've noticed. Oh, I don't know about that. Oh, yeah, there's a mosque right behind me. What I've noticed so far about Bosnia is that it's really a mix of cultures. Like, you see a lot of mosques, but then churches, and yeah, you see a bit of everything. So it's kind of fun. Just to notice that, like, it feels a little bit like Egypt with all the mosques. Not as many as Egypt though. So I made it to Sarajevo, so I just want to talk about yesterday, which is a bit of a whirlwind, and you'll see why. So no, started off the day really well. Like I said, I started off the day going downhill, so that was quite nice. It was just the morning itself was okay. It was better than the day before, but it was just very hilly and very windy, so it was not great. But I mean, the weather was there, so I couldn't really complain too much. But yeah, otherwise it was pretty because it was like all fall colors in the mountains, so it was kind of nice. But otherwise, not much else. And then the fun started around noon, so I could see in the distance that the clouds were getting dark, like gray, black, dark. So it started to like rain a little bit, so I was like, okay, well, I'm in a city right now, thankfully. I'm just gonna go to a supermarket, buy things, like spend a lot of times like looking around, and then hopefully by the time I'm done, the rain will have passed and I can go on my merry way. It didn't happen that way. I came out and it barely rained, so I guess I had just spluttered a little bit. But yeah, nothing. So I was like, well, I got my stuff for lunch, so I might as well keep going and then try to find somewhere covered if it starts raining. And yeah, then it started raining. As soon as I got on my bike, it was starting to rain. So I kept on going, went to the outskirts of the city, and then the only covered place that was public was a bus stop. So I stopped in the bus stop and yeah, just ate there. Quite miserable. Like, it was just so rainy and like nothing really around to see. So I was just trying. I didn't read my book because like some rain came on me. So I was just like, it was not great. So I just spent it watching around, looking at the rain. But yeah, around 1 o'clock, I was like, well, I need to keep going. I have about 2.5 hours left. Some of it uphill. Like, I can't just stay here forever. So I decided to keep going. So I put my lights on. I put my rain poncho, and yeah, decided to start heading out. Which I did, but it was like I was soaked by like 10 15 minutes in, I was soaked. Yeah, by half an hour, like everything was wet, and like I could feel it in my shoes. I had a double layer of socks, and I could feel that every time I put my foot down, like water would splash up. It was gross feeling. But yeah, that was not great. And yeah, and it was still mountain, so like going uphill with a bit of wind, with my poncho and everything, and oh, it was not fun. But then I saw that I had like an hour and a half left, so I was like, okay, well, either I can stop now and sort of rest. And it stopped raining. That's it. It rained lightly, so I was like, either I can stop now and just like take a break and then still make it when the sun is out, or I just keep going and like, yeah, just go through it. And so I chose the second option, so I just kept going. But yeah, and then so like, because the rain stopped, I could take a couple more pictures. And at some point I was quite close to the top of a hill, and these guys, there were like 8 guys in a shack. And then after the shack there was a really nice view. So I passed the shack and then stopped and took a picture of the view. And this one guy comes out and goes like, "Oh, picture." And I was like, yeah, I took a picture. He's like, "Oh, rakia," which is like the alcohol there. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll try. So I go with him, and then, well, with him, like, it's just a shack, like, it's not, I wouldn't go into his house or anything, but yeah, it was just, I guess, a bunch of buddies together, like Oh right, and then there was like this whole copper like boiling pots, two of them like next to each other in the shack. So I didn't know what they were up to, but it's explained in a little bit. So he gives me a shot of rakia, and then in Belgrade with Jen, we had learned that you need to sip it. So I was like, well, do I sip it or do I drink it? He's like, no. It's like, oh, okay. So I take it, and it was strong. Like, it was strong stuff, but it was really warming. Like, it warmed me up really nicely. So I was like quite happy. I was like, oh, Havala, like, thank you. Like, And he gives me another one. I was like, no. Okay, well, you know, maybe it's rude to say no. So I was like, all right, thank you. But yeah, thank you. Okay, so I take a second one. Oh, it's strong stuff. And yeah, all the buddies were like laughing and everything. So probably at my expense, but I didn't care. It warmed me up. And then I start looking at what they're doing, and they're making rakia. They're making, I guess, the new batch. And so in that big copper cylinder there, he showed me inside. They were boiling, I don't know what the liquid was, but there was like bits of pear in it. And then they had just recently taken off, there was a tube that would go from the top of that over to a different cylinder, like big. It wasn't copper, it was something else. But if I understand chemistry well, I think so they boil the liquid, and I don't know what the liquid is, but all the alcohol evaporates before the water. So all the alcohol gets out and goes into the other cylinder. So, and then I was like, rakia? He's like, yeah. So they were making new rakia. And then he gives me a third shot. I was like, okay, well, he already poured it and everything. So I was like, okay, this is the last one, okay? After this, finish. And he's like, okay. So I had the third one. And yeah, I was like, well, I only have 30 minutes left. It's all downhill. I'll be okay. Like, it should, like, mostly because it's 30 minutes and downhill, it's not gonna be a big thing. So yeah, that was something. And so I look around, I ask if I can take a picture. He's like, yeah. So I take a picture. You can see them in the background. And then one of the guys that was at the back at the table with his buddies, he's like, he stands up and he's a decent fellow. And he goes, what you, English, and I go, oh, France. And he goes, Paris, like, gives me a big slap on the back, and then like he takes my arm, and I was like, oh, okay. And then he's like, Paris, and he like pours himself a shot and pours me one. I was like, well, no, like, I don't want to get, no. And then, so I was like, okay, but the absolute last one, he's like, yeah. I was like, after this, I have to go, okay? Because I need to keep going. I can't just fall off the road. He's like, yeah. So that's exactly what I do. I take the shot, and then, okay, thank you, Havala, Zdravo, goodbye. And then I head out. And yeah, it's a bit fuzzy. But yeah, it's just all downhill in Sarajevo, so to Sarajevo. And it's a very hilly town, it feels like. Like, you can see over here, there's like a hill. Well, over there, behind me, there's the hill. So that's where I came from, I think. So yeah, very, very hilly place. But yeah, thankfully it was all downhill to get here. So I'm quite happy. And yeah, in the evening, so I got to the hostel and I was like, I need to sit down, I need to rest a little bit. So I do, and I just watch videos for I think an hour, just calm down. And then I make, I don't really feel like doing anything or like walking about there because, my legs were still quite bad from the day before. So I was just like, I just want something nice. So I ended up going to a bank just to get some cash because I still didn't have any Bosnian cash. So I go to the bank, get some cash, and then I end up going to a wok place, get noodles and vegetable. Like, I wasn't really hungry either, so get my noodles and vegetables. And because I had all the snacks when I watched videos. I finished all my snacks while watching my videos, just to have something in my stomach with the shots. And yeah, and then so went to the bank, got something for breakfast, and headed out. So yeah, headed to bed quite early, and that's about it. Today I'm hoping to do, so there's the free walking tour here. So I'm hoping to do the free walking tour in the morning, which starts in 9 minutes. Hopefully I'm not the only one and they cancel it. And then I should be good to just visit Sarajevo, walk about. And tomorrow I'm going to start going towards Mostar. It's like 140 kilometers away, so it's too much for one day. So I'll stop halfway through, and there's another hostel. So actually, like for the next 3 days, I have hostels, which is quite nice. No, the hostel's quite comfortable. There was an Algerian guy at the hostel yesterday, so I spoke a bit of French with him, and he's doing like a 2-week holiday around the Balkans, and he's like, oh yeah, I just came from Belgrade. I'll be here, and then he's going to Zagreb. So he's doing like the capital cities. Yeah, and so we talked a little bit in French, and yeah, then I went to bed, and that's about it. All right, bye.